Monday night, Jacqueline Bisset will be with us. Tuesday night, a full hour with Ted Turner. And next Wednesday night, Bill Murray. It's the story of a serial rapist on the loose and an innocent man destroyed by the justice system. Author Jack Olsen delves into the mind of the psychopath and the destruction he causes in Jack's latest book, Predator: Rape, Madness, and Injustice in Seattle. He joins me along with one of the rapist victim. We shall call her Anne. That is not her real name. We're also joined in Seattle by Paul Henderson, the Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter for the Seattle Times. Rather, he is in San Francisco. He is now a private investigator. We'll start from the top, Jack, with you. This occurred when? What's the story? What happened?
Well, it started to occur when he was born, but the actual rape that we've been talking about occurred in the early 80s. He grew up in a very psychopathic family in a psychopathic way.
This is the convicted
This
rape.
is the convicted. This is the predator.
He was called the Predator?
I call him the predator. He is a sexual predator is what he's termed.
How many people did he rape?
He says 55, and I believe him.
All in the Northwest Washington
He
area?
started in L.A., and he kind of wore out his welcome there, got nicked a few times by the law, decided he'd be safer if he staked out a new turf. He went up to Seattle and then raped another 40 to 50 women.
This was over how long a period of time?
This is over 5 or 6 years. But he also robbed. He started out sticking up fast food stores. Anything antisocial he did.
Didn't kill anyone?
No.
Just
No,
rape?
He tells me that in any case where the woman resisted at all, he backed off. I haven't found anything to dispute that.
How many of the rapes were reported?
Probably a third.
But he admitted to many more than were reported.
Well, he got into a situation where he had to admit it. They put him in a sex offenders program, which is pretty cushy compared to the penitentiary. And they told him, you can stay in here, but if you tell us one lie, you'll go back to the penitentiary. Now, how many people did you rape? And then he said 20. He said, wait a minute, give me a couple days to think about it. And he went down, thought about it, and he listed, and he came up with 55 to keep himself out of the penitentiary.
How old is this man?
He's now in his early 30s.
And he is where now?
In the state penitentiary in Washington.
For?
Well, he comes up for parole in 2006. I don't think he'll make it then.
What was the sentence?
He had a 60-year, 320s.
All right, there are sidelines to this story. We're going to cover all of them. Anne, I thank you very much for coming. This can't be very easy. That is not, of course, Anne's real name. What happened? What happened to you, and how did it happen?
To me, well, it happened as, well, it was on April 15th of 1980.
The date, I guess you don't forget.
Right, you can't forget that. And I was a new real estate agent holding my first open house in a vacant house in the Everett area.
This was, what time of day?
Noon, a little before noon.
Sunday?
On a weekday, probably a Tuesday or Thursday, actually. And he came in as someone who was looking at the house, asked a lot of valid and pertinent questions about government financing, asked whether I'd be willing to show his wife and him the house again later in the day. So he asked if I would come back and stay there and meet him about 1:30. He would return, which he did. And, of course, the wife wasn't with him. So I thought perhaps she was coming in a separate car. And he said, well, let's take some measurements again. We'll go back. We'll measure the bedrooms.
He did nothing the first time you went through it?
No, but, you know, his behavior was a little peculiar. I just didn't pick up on it at that time. He had asked to use the restroom a couple of times. And when he did return, he used the restroom again. And we went out in the garage. We took some measurements. He had talked about taking out a wall between two bedrooms and making it one master bedroom. So the measurement we took was widthwise and then lengthwise, and he asked me to step into the closet and measure, in case if he moves the wall, then he wanted to know the depth, including the closet space. So I was down on the floor with my tape measure, and you know, it's funny after this many years that it still moves me to think about it. But I was on the floor holding the tape measure, and before I knew it, he was on me in the closet and holding a knife to my throat. That's something you don't forget.
He reported it. What happened at the end? He just left?
He did leave.
Did he apologize? Did he say anything?
He didn't. He told me if I didn't say anything that he would leave me and he would go and he wouldn't hurt me. So he left.
And you reported right away?
Oh, immediately. I got up and got dressed quickly and went to the neighbors, and I found no one home at the first 3 houses and finally found someone I could use their telephone.
How long after that before he was caught?
Gosh, I think it was well over a year.
Were you one of the people who testified against him?
Oh, yes.
There was a full trial.
Well, no, there wasn't. Actually, it didn't go to trial where I had to testify. I think he ended up pleading, and he was convicted without my having to make public testimony.
How long, you never get over it, right?
Right.
Your name was never printed in the paper.
Actually, I think it was. I didn't have a problem with that at all. I came forward and used my own name, and you know, it didn't seem something that I should be concerned about at that time. My objective was to find this guy.
Did anything happen to you by virtue of your name being printed?
No, nothing.
Not to your knowledge?
No.
How long before life returned to what could be called normal? That I would say dating, sexual relationships, something normal kind.
I was married, so there wasn't...
You were married at the time?
At the time. I've been married for almost 19 years. And I'll tell you, my husband was great. He was so supportive. He was hurt and angry with the predator, but he was very supportive and gentle and compassionate with me, so I'm very grateful for that. But it took a while. I'm not saying that my life was immediately back in order, but it wasn't ever severely distressed. My life didn't change a great deal, but my attitude towards things, my trust in people, I tended to be very suspicious of people. I wouldn't hold another open house alone for quite some time. I had to have other agents be with me. When I finally made the transition to holding open houses alone, I would check with neighbors.
The book is Predator. Our guests are Jack Olsen, the author. He's famous for crime books, by the way. And Anne, one of the serial rapist victims, although she's not adverse to using your name, right? Or you don't want to use it here tonight?
Probably not, and only because I don't feel that my family at this point should bear the unnecessary publicity for publicity's sake.
Paul Henderson is the Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter for the Seattle Times, now a private investigator. He was responsible for freeing Steve Titus, a man falsely accused of being the rapist. We'll get that angle. We'll include your calls. And Mr. Boz is still to come. This is Larry King live in Washington. Don't go away.
Philly is back at the Spectrum as the Sixers try to get something going against the Bulls. In baseball, it is a brave new world for Atlanta. The Braves in first place. Plus, Bo begins his summer vacation at 11:30 Eastern.
Our guests are Jack Olsen, the author of the new book, Predator, Rape, Madness, and Injustice in Seattle, and one of the victims of the serial rapist. And we're now joined with Paul Henderson, formerly of the Seattle Times. Did you cover this story from its onset, Paul?
I became involved following a phone call from Steve Titus, which came to the newsroom right after following his conviction.
He was convicted of raping how many people?
Well, Steve was convicted of raping one person, a 17-year-old woman.
But was generally purported to be the mass rapist?
Not really. As far as the court was concerned, as far as the police were concerned, this was an isolated rape incident, and Steve was not tied in with any other crime.
So he doesn't fit this story, except as we're talking about rape and misjustice.
Well, Steve Titus's conviction certainly was a miscarriage of justice, and
I mean, but how is he part of this story?
He was convicted of a rape that the predator committed.
Oh, the predator
And all the time that Steve Titus was being tried and convicted, the predator was sitting on the sidelines watching.
He watched an innocent man he
doing
knew.
nothing. Exactly. That's the connection.
What convinced you to get on the tail that this may have been an innocent man, Paul?
well, the first night I met with Steve at his apartment and spent a number of hours there, and Steve Titus was very convincing. He was accompanied by his fiancée, Mona Imholt, and by the time I left, I was convinced that this guy was telling me the truth. He passed all my tests. I could have been wrong at that point, but I had a very strong feeling that this man was being truthful with me.
And so you then did what?
Well, I started 6 weeks of newspaper research, which ultimately ended up in a full-page story, which was the first of a number of articles, investigative articles, examining the conviction of this guy. The first article basically covered all of the facts of the case and numerous discrepancies in the conviction against the guy. And that was followed by additional investigative pieces which ultimately proved his innocence very conclusively.
And no doubt, and then he passed away, didn't he? Huh?
Yes, but first, after Paul made things begin to look up for this poor guy who was convicted, the predator went out and raped somebody else in Steve Titus's backyard to renew the heat, which Paul was beginning to dispel. Typically psychopathic behavior. They don't care who they hurt.
How did he get away with it?
Well, he got away with it for 6 or 8 or 10 years because he was very clever. He's bright. He's a bright psychopath. And he studied rape. He studied, the first thing he realized was that 1 rape out of 40 results in jail time. So he figured those are pretty good odds. So he started out, and after he figured he'd worn out his welcome in the L.A. area, he got himself a whole new slate in the Seattle area, and he was very clever. He didn't tangle, for example, with the Seattle Police Department. He raped in all the little outlying jurisdictions where the officers don't communicate with each other, etc. In fact, if it had been all one police jurisdiction, he would have been caught after a few rapes.
So, Ann, when Steve was on trial, you didn't associate that with yours at all, right?
Not at all. In fact, the confusion of identity didn't enter into my case at all. But it's amazing how much they did look alike, the composite that we were able to put together of
so the person who identified
the predator. I'm sure that
clearly mistaken.
It was easy to make that confusion, though, given the pictures.
Ann, by the way, is a police officer's wife, right?
That's correct.
Did that add to your zealousness?
Oh, I'm sure, but it was, I think, just my basic background. And all during the event, I remember thinking, in between, probably the most prayers I have ever said in my entire life was, what would my husband have me do? You know, how should I be reacting to this? And what can I do to best salvage any evidence and catch this guy later?
How long did it take to get Steve out of jail, Paul?
About 2 months from the first time I met with him until the final newspaper article came out, which proved his innocence. That was on a Friday, and the following Monday, Steve appeared in court with his attorney in a motion for a new trial, and the judge overturned the conviction. It wasn't long after that that the real rapist was apprehended.
What did Steve die of?
He died of a stress-induced heart attack in 1985, which was 3 years, following his vindication. He was just 2 weeks away at the time from going into court, a long-awaited civil suit against the Port of Seattle Police Department and the police officer who he felt had framed him for this crime.
Framed him?
Well, I'll let Jack talk about that because he certainly covered that very well. Framed him is exactly what he did. I mean, there's certainly no doubt about it.
Why would he frame him?
He framed him all the way. This police detective was in trouble. He'd been told to take a month off and get his act together or leave, see a psychiatrist, etc. Instead, he arrested an innocent man. And it didn't take him long to realize that Steve Titus was an innocent man, but he wouldn't let go.
So there's lots of things we learn from this. A lot of rapes aren't reported. A lot of these rapists are conniving and kind of brilliant in a weird way.
You call your lawyer if you're arrested.
Sociopathic.
Yep.
And once you're charged with a rape, you're in big trouble.
Yep.
And innocent people could get convicted.
And this one did.
And we shouldn't presume guilt.
Exactly.
Paul?
Let me add a couple of other lessons to be learned from this. We know that an innocent man, totally innocent man, can fail a polygraph, number one, and we know that that a victim can misidentify an innocent person as her attacker. Both of those were the case in the Steve Titus situation.
We'll be right back with Ann and Paul Henderson and Jack Olsen. Jack's book is Predator, Rape, Madness, and Injustice in Seattle. We'll be including your phone calls. And Mr. Bosworth will be here later, a former Seahawk. It's kind of a Seattle event tonight on Larry King Live. Don't go away.
again take the world by storm.
This is the new generation.
We're going to start including your phone calls. Our guests are Jack Olsen, the author of Predator, Rape, Madness, and Injustice in Seattle, and a victim of the real Seattle rapist who was Max Smith, and Paul Henderson, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter of the Seattle Times, responsible for helping to free Steve Titus, falsely accused of the rapes that Max Smith committed. Steve Titus passed away. Mr. Henderson is now a private investigator, and our first call is from Seattle. Hello.
Hello. I was wondering, why is there such a prevalence of major serial crimes up here in Seattle? Also, why are so many groups so willing to help cover up when they know that there's a serial rapist in their midst or in their profession?
Okay, well, first question, Paul.
Well,
How did you guess?
Well, I can take a stab at the first question, and I've always felt that that by the time somebody migrates across the country and ends up in Seattle, there's no place else to go, certainly no place further west. I think that's one of the reasons that we've had more than our share of serial rapists and psychopathic serial killers, and we certainly have. There's no disputing that.
And the second question about cover-up, and you seem to be nodding your head when he asked it. Do you know what he meant, Jack?
Yeah, I think up until the last few years, rape was a dirty little secret that really nobody wanted to talk about. It's because of people like Ann that it's now coming out into the open and discussed as the little murder that it is. I mean, it's a murder of the psyche. And I think now that we're going to see, people will talk about it now.
Especially with the Palm Beach matter.
Another example.
Camp Spring, Maryland, for Paul Henderson, Jack Olsen, and Ann. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
We love the King Show. You've got the right name.
I mean, your county.
Prince George's.
Correct. Well, Prince, King, what the heck?
The lady is very attractive and handling this exceedingly well. I'm wondering, she doesn't want to reveal her name, and yet she's on national TV. What is the rationale?
I gave that a lot of serious consideration, and I did come forward at the time that it was relevant. I did come forward with my own name. Since then, the rapist has been convicted and is in prison, and I feel that in my situation, justice has been served. To come forward at this point would simply be for the sake of publicity, and I think, as I said before, it would be unfair to have to put the burden of that on my family now. If I became a victim again, I'd come forward in a heartbeat. I'd use my own name.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello.
Larry, I like your show. My question is for Ann. Ann, do you at present carry any type of like handgun in your purse to prevent something like this, or have you taken any type of self-defense course?
No, actually I haven't. I've watched a couple of programs on self-defense, but I tried not to let this event ruin my life and make me so suspicious of people that I would feel the need to carry a gun. No, I don't.
Long Island, New York. Hello.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and Larry, I just want to tell you that I love your show, and I want to ask Ann, should all men be viewed as potential child molesters and rapists, and is this fair to men?
No, not at all. I mean, on the whole, men are, you know, a wonderful species. I'll tell you that I know a lot of wonderful men and very, very few not so wonderful men. So absolutely not.
But once accused of this, you get a tinge about you all your life, don't you, Jack?
Oh, sure.
I mean, young Mr. Smith has been convicted of nothing. This is going to be forever around him, isn't he? Maybe he didn't do it.
Young Mr. Smith, who's in the penitentiary, is the one who was
the one in Palm Beach.
Yeah. Oh, the other. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Max Smith, the predator, came out better than anybody. He's alive. Like all sociopaths, he works. The prison's fine for him. He's a prison leader. He teaches people to read. He does all these good things. On the outside, he'd probably rape again next week.
What did you find out? What caused him to be the way he is?
One hell of a childhood, Larry. You couldn't describe a more appalling, horrifying childhood. I know that's the old cliche about criminals, but he really did. He had an impossible childhood. I don't see how. I talked to him a few weeks ago, and I said, look, I think you're where you belong. I'm glad you're behind bars till 2006, but I don't really see how you could have turned out much different. That was that bad.
Chicago, hello.
Yes, so Larry, the question for the three people, how do they feel about the death penalty in cases like what happened in Seattle? I don't know if anyone was killed by the rapist.
No one was.
If the person had been sentenced to death.
But then it's possible, sir, that Mr. Steve Titus would have been executed.
Correct. Would they favor, how do they feel about the death penalty?
Jack?
Well, I'm just personally against it. I'm irrational on the subject. I don't think that killing is good, whoever does it.
And?
I agree wholeheartedly with Jack. I'm totally against, and I don't think it would serve any constructive purpose.
Paul?
Innocent people, innocent men and women have been put to death, been executed in this country, and if we're only learning now about innocent people behind bars, wrongful convictions, that's certainly one very good reason for not executing people in this country.
Miami, hello.
Hi, I'd like to find out what happened to the police officer that supposedly framed Mr. Titus.
He died too, right?
He died of a stress heart attack, exactly as Titus.
Same thing.
Same thing. Keeled over after an evening little altercation at the airport. He went up and changed his clothes, keeled over, and was dead. A suitable end for a horrifyingly bad officer.
Thank you all very much for an incredible tale. Our guests have been Jack Olsen. The book is Predator, Rape, Madness, and Injustice in Seattle. Paul Henderson, the Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter of the Seattle Times, now a private investigator, and Anne. Brian Bosworth is next.